rocket from the Delta to the DMZ.
Alright, good morning everybody. Beautiful sunrise over here at local time. Looks about 6:19, 6:20 in the morning. And we got some big seas finally. I mean, this is nice. Not the wind speeds I was hoping for, but we're still doing 7.5 with 8.5 true wind speed. I'm beating my way into the southern, the South Atlantic right now. Day 13, about to be day 14 in a few hours, but I'm about to go to bed, so I will not be awake for day 14. Let me fall off a little bit here. I got these tails a little out of whack. All right. So a few positives occurred over the night. One of them was we got out of the doldrums completely, and we're definitely not going to see that again. We'll be in the speed, and the good wind speeds down here. The one negative is I'm kind of watching these guys that are over on the coastline here. Looks like Carto is really doing good. The issue with them, if we bring this up, let me go over here. Nope, wrong one. And this game uses this weather map, so live, as you can see here, Carto's over here. Now this wind, no matter how far we forecast this out, it's always coming off the point of Africa down here to the south. So all these guys that went over to the coastline, no matter what they're gonna, where they go, they're gonna have to beat all the way down to Cape Town. And there's also this area of low pressure right here, and it's almost like a triangle. So we had a triangle of death up here in the doldrums. I'm going to call this the larger triangle of death because there's really no air there. It does fill in temporarily, so they might be able to get away with going through there, but for the most part it's going to be light airs except for those couple days. So I think these guys on the coastline are going to have to come more south and more of the middle of the pack here. And then you got to watch out for this, and this is dangerous here, this low pressure system right here. Kind of works its way up north of Cape Town. It fills in, kind of comes and goes. But yeah, it's going to take some really good navigation from these guys that went out to the African coastline. And I mean, they lucked out as far as timing. They got through the doldrums pretty quickly, and the rest of us over to the west here, we got stuck. And nobody saw it coming, none of us saw it coming. And now, unfortunately, there's a few other people that are kind of following the people that went over to the coastline, thinking that it's the right move, and it's not right now because that's where that triangle of death is, up there. Blackborough and X-Ray, looks like X-Ray's in the lead now, but they're really off the coast of Brazil. They think that's the best move to make. I don't blame them. The real Volvo Ocean Race guys did it. We're not as fast as those guys though, so I'm kind of playing it safe. I want to stay in the middle, and let's see if I can just figure out where I am here. No, there I am. So I'm leading this pack back here, trying to cut my way back up to the lead. I've been catching these guys up pretty good, so it's not bad. But my plan is, as it stands, to just, let's see if I can make a point over here. Yeah, there we go. As it stands, I'm just trying to point as high as I can right now, so the plan is to come south like this. And if you look at the difference here, this wind is coming up and shifting up to the north right about here. But down here, it's a rotation, almost like a hurricane, a circular rotation. And I'm thinking once I get down to here, I can point a hell of a lot higher, maybe even 30 degrees higher. No, not that high. There we go. Something like that. So I'm thinking with this rotation, and as we move into the future of forecast here, it shifts more coming out of the east than it does what is now basically southeast. Which will allow me to point higher and higher and higher towards the African coastline. And eventually, I think by the time I predict myself being down there, we'll be able to point up a little higher like this. And with the winds coming right around the point of Africa right here, almost south and north, I should be able to point high enough to, if that wind stays the same, especially here. I mean, this forecast for next Tuesday, this wind is almost west to east, so we'd be able to point a lot higher. This is the kind of path that I'm hoping that I'll be able to do. It'll save me a lot of time. All these guys over here, this wind direction is pretty much constant, and they're going to end up having to tack back and forth and beat their way up to Cape Town, or either come south and join us. And these guys way out west, you know, Blackboro on that, they'll have to make a decision on if they're going to go as far south as the Volvo Ocean Race guys did, you know, coming all the way down here underneath this low pressure system, or if they're going to tack back into the middle and join the rest of us. I'm hoping this kind of pattern works out, and I'm hoping that it gains me a lot of positions back, because we lost a lot of positions with the bugs in the game that we had in the doldrums, and as far as my boat not sailing proper course. To fix that, I'm really looking at future forecast models for the wind, and I found out that when you make waypoints, so for example, when you come over and let's see, I'm going to be at work for the next 12 hours or whatever, so I want my boat to come down to this waypoint. There, I just made a waypoint. And then we come up here and we hit, let me get rid of that. We hit set auto navigation to sail the laid out track. Well, theoretically, that should, when you're offline, make the boat go to that waypoint, and unfortunately I'm having issues with that. And as I've said in previous videos, my boat would turn around and be heading towards Boston for no apparent reason. So let me delete that. I've gotten rid of my waypoints altogether, and I've just got my boat set up to, when I'm online or offline, to hold its current wind angle, or angle to the wind. So if I decide that, as you can see these streaks coming through, the wind's going to be coming out of this direction for the next day or two, or even more. So let me get on a true wind angle of 56 degrees, and then I'll log off, and my boat will kind of, you know, go back and forth through here. Because the wind oscillates, obviously, so you'd be pointing a little bit higher 1 minute and then heading a little lower the next minute. But overall, your boat would probably be around this area the next day, you know. So I found that is working out a lot better than the waypoint system is in this game. The waypoint does not work at all in this game, so I've abandoned that, and I'm just going to use this for now on. It's going to be tough. I mean, in future legs, when we're going in between islands and everything, when we get over to Asia, it's not going to be easy. But we'll see what happens. Hopefully they fix the waypoint system by then. It's pretty lame that when I lay a waypoint out, you know, like this, that my boat doesn't go there. It just kind of ticks off and goes over somewhere else. But we'll leave that alone. I don't want to mess with the waypoints anymore. And I've lost probably about a day of time and distance on the rest of the fleet, so because of that. You know, I was at work one night for 12 hours and my boat was heading northeast, or northwest, I'm sorry. So while the rest of these guys, the rest of this pack was heading down towards the, at the time was the doldrums. I believe it was right after we passed Cape Verde I started having issues with the waypoint system. So instead of heading south towards the doldrums, my boat went off up here, and then I had to play catch up and catch everybody back up. And I'm not the only one having issues. There's a lot of people that are heading in weird directions. It's not new to a lot of people. You know, they have issues as well. I see people sailing backwards all the time. But this is working for us so far the last few days, as far as the maintain its angle to the wind. And we'll see what happens in the long run. Like I said, I want to see what this does for us as far as just sailing this track, because I think this, you know, it's still 3,500 nautical miles or whatever, close there, and I still think that might be less than beating back and forth, coming, you know, this way, this way, this way, this way, blah blah blah. You know, beating, you know, basically is covering a longer distance, but because you can't head directly into the wind, you have to zigzag. So I'm hoping this works out for us, and we'll see how many positions we can actually gain on people. It's a long race still. I mean, we're estimated to have maybe 16, 17, 18, maybe even more days of this race for us. And we don't know how it's going to work out for these guys out here, Blackborough and X-Ray, or this big pack that split away from us and went over to the coastline before the doldrums. So they went over there well before this line up here. But with all the light pressure that's in here and a lot of changes that are coming up as far as the winds and everything, you can see a lot of blue in there. I think it's best for us to stay in the middle where these winds are just, they never die, basically. You go day to day, and you look at my track right here, and it's all green winds, basically. So we're going to at least have 10 knots of wind, or 8 knots, 9 knots, 10 knots of wind in there. Maybe even more at times. The only thing that worries me is next Sunday, a week from today, there's a little patch of some light pressure right here, but I don't know where we'll be at that time. We'll have to wait. It fills back in pretty quickly, but by Tuesday the 28th, there's a lot of high pressure down here off the southern coast of Africa. But the leaderboard, like I said, doesn't mean anything. We've fallen back to 50. Well, we were in 56th earlier, so we're up to 54th. But that doesn't mean anything at all, because there's a line, pretty much a straight line. I can show you over here. Da-da-da. This green line is from the start line to the finish line, from Lisbon, Portugal to Cape Town. And whoever is closest to this is pretty much at the top of the leaderboard. So it doesn't mean anything, because we obviously can't sail through the Sahara Desert unless we put wheels on our boats. But because we're going around this way, there's an advantage to going really far west along the coast of Brazil and really far south. So the guys that are probably going to win this race are the people that are a little bit farther away from this green line, as far as tactics and strategy and everything are concerned. But we'll have to see. You never know. It might work out for these guys like Carto and we got Kevin and everybody over here that went out to the coastline. And those are all the guys that are at the top of the leaderboard right now. John, Tito, Storm Petrol, Slow-Mo. And I don't think they made the wrong decision. I think they made the right decision for that moment, but in the long run, we'll have to see how it plays out. There's a lot of things that we're really kind of unsure about right now, but I kind of like this path that I'm following. And if the predicted winds happen, I should be able to just carve my way up here into Cape Town and never have to tack, basically. I mean, I will be on a port tack, but yeah, so we'll never see the other side of the boat for quite a while. For the next 20 days, maybe. But we'll be able to loop our way right into Cape Town, so that'd be interesting. We'll see what happens. Weather always changes, obviously. I'm just kind of enjoying the sunrises on this game right now. The sunsets are even better. But as far as tactics, that's what we're doing for right now, and we'll see if it plays out in our advantage. Like I said, it's just over the course of the next week, there's this low pressure system down here to the south that we need to watch out for, because it does shift to the north and then it shifts back down here and it moves around a lot, and it gets very large next Sunday. We don't. If we're anywhere near here next Sunday, from a week from now, we don't want to be anywhere near there. So. And then the following day, Monday, it fills in pretty nicely. So, as far as the real Volvo Ocean Race guys, if we go here, they're way ahead of us, obviously. They're a lot faster. They have a lot more sail area than our boats are able to put up in this game. It's interesting what they're doing right now, because they're doing the same thing that I want to do. I'm right about here, I would suppose. Well, can I even put a mark there? I don't know if I can put a mark there. Well, I can do this. Yeah. Whoops. Nope. That red thing right there. I'm in somewhere in that area. Anyway, we're thinking of working our way south for right now, and then as this wind shifts a little bit, we can possibly loop our way into Cape Town. Because they're a lot faster than us, they made their way through the doldrums without running into any low pressure. So they blew their way right through the doldrums, and we got there, because we're slower than them, we got there at bad timing where this was just all no wind right here. So I think everybody everybody right here that I'm circling pretty much, we were stuck with no wind for about 2 days, and it was very costly, but yeah, these guys lucked out in real life, the real Volvo Ocean Racing guys. Team Brunel, I'm quite a fan of those guys. Bob Becking, really good guy. I met him actually in Newport, Rhode Island in 2014 or 2015 when the last one was there. Yeah, he's a good guy. He's done this so many times, this race, and he hasn't won it, so it's interesting. I hope he wins it someday, you know, but this year I'm still rooting for the Americans, obviously. Vestas is right behind them. Right behind them, actually. They're only 4 miles behind. And we got Matt Frey, obviously he's going to be a front runner in this race. It's a one design fleet, so these boats are all, it's down to the crew. It's not down to, you know, it's the crew and tactic. It has nothing to do with the boat. The boats are all the same. Dong Feng with Carlos Cadralia, they're always going to be up towards the front because they have experience. ExxonMobil is a new team, newish team. You know, they got a lot of experience on board with Chris Nicholson joining at the last minute, but I think they're still, as far as chemistry, team chemistry, they've been training the longest, but their team has done a lot of shifting around and everything at the very last minute, so I think they have some team chemistry issues. And Sun Hong Kai Scallywag, I think kind of the same thing. They've done a lot of Sydney to Harbor races, and they kind of entered the Volvo Ocean Race just as a sponsor team. And it looked like a really good team, a good group of guys, but they don't know if they have the experience in a race similar to like Volvo Ocean Race. You know, Sydney to Harbor, it's like a 2-day, 3-day thing. In super maxis and everything like that. And these boats, I mean, they're out at the sea for 20 to 30 days for one leg. You know, obviously sailing from Lisbon, Portugal to Cape Town is a very long leg, and the next one, I can't move this map over, but it's from Cape Town to Melbourne, Australia, and then Melbourne up to Hong Kong, Hong Kong to Auckland. It's a lot of craziness, but yeah, these are the 4 teams that I think are the favorites. You know, between Dongfang, Vestas, Brunel, and Map Frey, they were all in the last Volvo Ocean Race, and these are the 2 new teams as far as ExxonMobil and Scallywag. So they're kind of in positions that I expected them to be at this time. But anyway, you know, they're following this huge pressure system down here as far as these storms in the Southern Ocean. So they came darting all the way down here after they got through the doldrums, and they want to catch. They're pointing in an interesting direction right now because I don't think they want to hit this system as far as this changing from an downwind to an upwind. I think they're going to want to turn away from that and hightail it onto this band of wind, because this is the roller coaster that they're talking about as far as, you know, they get onto this and they can jibe back and forth and just ride this high pressure all the way into Cape Town. Because even this low pressure right here, it fills in all the way into the shoreline in the next couple days. So it's interesting that Brunel and everybody is kind of pointing down here at the moment, because I think they want to turn up here a little bit more. They could do that within the next couple hours. We'll have to wait and see. I don't think they should be going into this area at all, but we'll see what happens. As for us, yep, it's going to be a lot longer of a race because we don't have those same type of boats. We only have a 50-foot performance cruiser. We don't have the freaking VOR 65s that can definitely race a lot faster than this. But it is what it is. Just enjoying the sunrise still. It's 6:38 local time. And for the next couple days, we're just going to continue to work our way south and just try to do that loop over like I was talking about towards Cape Town. The progress is going to be pretty slow. This is a very long distance to cover, obviously, from where I'm at over to Cape Town. And I'll make a few update streams or videos as we go along, but we're just trying to catch the rest of these guys, you know. Oh, that was a huge graphics glitch. This big pack right here that I'm circling, you know, from everybody from Saul, Mass Hysteria, and Nemo, and Dingo. I want to catch these guys because I was side by side with them before we entered the doldrums, and then I had a couple issues with the auto helm. and I lost a lot of ground on those guys, so I want to get side by side with them again at least, and we'll see if there's anything tactically we can do to make up for lost time. Right now it's pretty much just a drag race to get, you know, as far south as possible. I haven't seen any other boats in a while, a couple days. Maybe we'll see a few soon as we hopefully pass a few guys. But yeah, I think that's it for today. And thanks for watching. Leave a like, and hopefully it doesn't take us too long to get to Cape Town. You know, I'm hoping by the time we see land again, I'm going to be so ecstatic, it's just going to be ridiculous. You know, I'm going to be like, oh my god, we freaking made it. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing land and hopefully getting a break before the next leg from Cape Town to Melbourne. I'm not sure if we'll be there on time to get a break, but it would be rather nice. Anyway, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.